got a new one for you today, and this is pretty cool because I have never done an unboxing, and I don't really plan on doing very many of them. This will not be a kind of theme, but it was just fortuitous that I'm looking at the good side of it. One of my phones, my main phone, broke, and so I needed to get a new one. So this is, inside of here is an iPhone 13, and I'm going to not only open it, but I'm going to talk about the elements that make up the different parts of a smartphone. So to start, this is the knife that I showed in my previous video. This was my grandpa's knife, and I thought, how perfect. I can use this to slice open this package. So I get to use this again. Oh, you can see the reflection of my Christmas lights up there. Alright, so let's get cracking and slice open this box. Okay, we are ready to roll. Put the knife back where it belongs. Alright, iPhone, where are you? This is, of course, fitting in here nicely. I love how they make everything just fit perfectly. Okay. So iPhone 13 has this really cool new setup of the camera that I'm very excited about. It's got telephoto. I haven't gotten a new phone in about 4 years, so this is pretty cool. Now they show you exactly how to do it. Okay. There it is. So lovely. Okay. So, some of the things I discovered about iPhones specifically, and there are a lot of components of different smartphones, but I wanted to be specific to iPhones and the iPhone 13. Here's the little cover. Take us. Nice. Okay. Wow. Like I said, I haven't gotten a new phone in a long while, so this is quite lovely. Nice. Okay. Probably the only person on the planet who makes videos without a ring light. Okay. I love how this reflects. So, since we're looking at the screen, I wanted to talk about what this is made of, and especially because there's a few things about this glass that is special and important to a smartphone. And one of them is just how important it is that it is durable. So that if you do drop it, it's less likely to break than if it was just regular glass. Okay, so regular glass in many windows has silicon oxide in it. So that's pretty standard. Silicon oxide, and these are two of the most abundant elements on planet Earth. So in terms of the environmental impact, that's great. Okay. But there are also some other types of glass well, they're still considered glass, that has other elements such as boron. So boron silicates, those are used in cookware. So that allows a greater capacity to withstand high heat. Okay. So with this particular type of glass, there's also aluminum is brought into it. So there is silicon oxide as well as aluminum oxide. And bringing all of that in together allows for a way to pressurize when they create the glass to create an extremely tough type of covering here, which is fabulous for those of us who are clumsy, right? Okay. Then there's what I think is one of the most amazing things about our touchscreens, and that is that they are touchscreens, right? That they actually can feel or touch when it is a conductive surface, our fingertips, right? That we have a little bit of moisture and we have ions that flow, and that this surface can detect that. That is quite important. All right, so in terms of this ion flow, this capacitive touch, you might call it, let's look at those elements. Indium is one of those. And I must say I'm laughing because I almost never have my door open so that I can feel the breeze coming into the house. But today I did that, and today also happens to be garbage pickup day. And right now, as I'm sitting down to record this, the garbage pickup happens to be occurring. So I see this as a sign that I just need to go with it, right? It's just too many things happened at once that allowed this to happen. So I love it. Okay. All right, so indium is in this touchscreen as well. And so is tin. All right, so these two elements here they are considered, they are metals. Most elements on the periodic table are metals, okay? But we're sneaking a little close here with tin to these semiconductive elements, right? Our silicon and our germanium and our antimony, and you can fold in elements that are nearby to adjust the type of semiconductor it is. So that's actually the topic of a whole nother video I could talk about, with an introduction to semiconductors and how they work and what kind of elements are in them and all that. So that would be a fun video to do. I'll do that sometime. Okay, but anyway, in terms of that touch screen that we have, it's indium, oxygen, and tin that are in this lovely surface touchscreen part. And then, as I said, we've got in that glass that's used, there's aluminum and silicon and oxygen. And I do believe that they fold in a little bit of phosphorus to give it even more durability. When you are creating a new material, a lot of times it is trial and error. And I had some friends in graduate school who did a lot of solid state materials chemistry. And we used to joke with them about how they did some of their chemistry and some of their synthesis of these new compounds. And we would call it shake and bake. So they would mix together certain ratios of different elements and literally shake them up, and then put them in an oven overnight. And then the next morning, they would open them up and then characterize them, see what they had made. And this whole group, this was led by Galen Stuckey, they were especially focusing on zeolites, these cage-like structures. And my dear friend Kelly did a lot of work in that group. And it was always fun talking with her and my other friends in that group that did shake and bake. They did very well. As random as it sounds, they had a method to their madness, and they do great science. So, all right. So that is not always how these things are figured out, what to put in. There's usually a reason, because there are certain properties that elements have. So, in terms of the battery that's inside here, it is a lithium-ion battery. And so, one of the reasons why lithium-ion batteries are used for so many different purposes is because the reduction potential is so enormously negative. And so you can pair it up with in terms of that's what's getting, because it has such a low reduction potential, so that's what would be getting oxidized. And you pair it with something that will get easily reduced, and you can get a good amount of electromotive force out of that combination. Okay, so there's no exception here. These are lithium-ion batteries. They do use some cobalt oxide is often combined in there. Sometimes manganese is as well as iron and phosphate. That's also true for Tesla batteries, from the research that I've done into those. And I wanted to say that lithium, and bring this over here. So lithium, group 1 metal, right? That it is actually quite detrimental to the environment to do a lot of lithium mining. And I've seen some documentaries, some short documentaries. I'll try to remember to give you a link to one of them that describes lithium mining in some communities in Chile, in South America, that is pretty awful. Okay, and that is true for many of the elements that are in smartphones. So I always like to be cognizant of that. I wait as long as possible before I get a replacement phone. Like I said, it's been about 4 years since I got this one, so I feel okay with that. But I wanted to highlight now the rare earth elements because these do play a role in many of the components in our smartphones. Okay, so we've got, in terms of the microphone, I guess the microphone's down here, the microphones and the speakers, that we've got neodymium, we've got dysprosium, we've got praseodymium, terbium, and gadolinium. Okay, so all these down here, these are praseodymium, neodymium, there's gadolinium, okay, there's our dysprosium. So all of these lanthanide metals, they have a lot of unpaired electrons. So that's really where the power comes with these. Whenever you need something that's magnetic, that's because they've got this possibility of, because there are 7 f orbitals, that as you add electrons going across this row, you're getting an increasing number of the unpaired electrons until you get halfway through, and they start pairing up again, but you still have a really good number of those. So we've got these strong magnets that are possible with these. There's also, in terms of the wires that are in there, there is some gold, all right, and so our gold on the periodic table that we all know pretty well. Copper is used for the wire, and then there's also tantalum is used, as well as, oh gosh, what was it? Oh yes, platinum and palladium are in there too. So across this row here, we've got tantalum, platinum, and gold are used, and we also see some palladium. Silver makes an appearance as well. All right. There is also a little bit of tin and a little bit of lead as well for some of the wiring components. And not so surprisingly, in the microprocessor and the chips, we have silicon. Silicon is what we call an intrinsic semiconductor, and so it is used in so many different processors because of this inherent semiconductive properties that it has. The lightness of the phones that are something that a lot of people want now, we've got a lot of aluminum in there, and not so surprising because aluminum, bring it back down here, aluminum is one of the lightest metals, and one of the lightest metals, you know, one could argue, oh well, you know, sodium is lighter, right? But sodium is very reactive, so aluminum is pretty durable, and it's also lightweight, and it's also fairly inexpensive, all right? But it is often, there's alloys that are mixed in to give it a little bit less reactivity. So oftentimes you'll see zinc that is also making an appearance in there. And this zinc can add to the hardness of it as well. Okay. So that's really an overview of smartphones and the periodic table, many of the elements that appear in it. Okay, I'm sure there are some that I missed, but I got most of them in there. For example, I believe nickel is in there as well. I think that might be part of the speakers and the microphones and things like that. So I love how reflective it is. So beautiful. All right. Well, thank you for going on this smartphone periodic table of the elements journey, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please let me know if you have any requests for any other objects you'd like me to talk more about, explain some of the chemistry or the materials that they're made of, or anything like that. I love either explaining things that I already know about, or I will go and delve in and learn more about it and then share that with you in an accessible way that if you know even just a little tiny bit of chemistry, that you'll be able to learn something from it. So let me know if there's something that interests you. And also as a reminder that I now have a way that you can join and be part of the community. So you just click the join button and there's some perks that you can get if you become part of the ASMR chemistry community. So let me know again what you think, if you have requests, anything else that might be fun or enjoyable for you. So thank you, and until next time, I'll see you then.